your time has expired. Senator Whish-Wilson.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Cormann. Given statements by the Prime Minister last week that the ongoing financial systems inquiry will advise the government on the recent Senate inquiry recommendation for a Royal Commission into Commonwealth Bank, can Senator Cormann confirm to the Senate today that the financial systems inquiry will be providing advice to the government on whether there should be a Royal Commission held into Commonwealth Bank?
The Minister for Finance, Senator Fifield.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy President. Mr. President, that is actually not what the Prime Minister said last week. What the Prime Minister said was that the report by the Senate Economics Committee inquiry into the performance of ASIC was a very comprehensive report, and indeed it did go over more than 550 pages. It did make 61 recommendations, and the Prime Minister said, as I did, that the government would carefully consider that report, carefully consider all of the recommendations and provide a full and considered response in due course. What we also said was that in relation to the recommendations related to ASIC, that there is indeed, that's a matter of fact, there is indeed a financial systems inquiry underway as we speak, which is assessing the regulatory arrangements in our financial system, and which, as part of that work, also, of course, is reviewing the role and the performance of ASIC moving forward. Now, in relation to the recommendation, specific recommendation 7, which recommended the Royal Commission effectively into the Commonwealth Bank, what the government has said is that we are unconvinced that yet another inquiry is the best way to help victims. What we are focused on is what course of action is most likely to achieve an efficient and effective resolution of any legitimate, outstanding, unresolved issues of aggrieved Commonwealth Bank customers. Now, in our judgment, the Open Advice Review Programme that was announced by Mr Naref, the CEO of the Commonwealth Bank, last week, if it is properly implemented in an appropriately independent fashion, does offer that opportunity. However, we do reserve our final judgment. We are, as we've said, we are monitoring the way that programme is implemented, and once it has been, once the rollout is underway, and once we have finalised our consideration of the relevant Senate Economics Committee inquiry, we will provide a full response to all of the recommendations, including the one that Senator Whish-Wilson refers to, but we remain unconvinced that yet another inquiry is the best way to help victims in the circumstances.
Senator Whish-Wilson is further supplementary.
Thank you, Mr President. I'll take that as a kind of yes. Given the head of the Financial Systems Inquiry is David Murray, former CEO of Commonwealth Bank from 1992 to 2005, does the government acknowledge there is a conflict of interest in Mr Murray being asked to provide advice on the need for a Royal Commission that he may be called as a witness to or potentially implicated in?
Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Mr President. I mean, clearly Senator Whish-Wilson had pre-written his supplementary question without and didn't take into account the answer I gave. Mr Murray and the Financial Systems Inquiry is not and never has been and never will be asked to provide advice to the government on whether or not there should be a Royal Commission into the Commonwealth Bank. David Murray, who is a highly regarded Australian and, as you've just indicated, has not been working for the Commonwealth Bank for about 9 years now, is doing an important job for the government in chairing the Financial Systems Inquiry, which is looking at, among other things, regulatory arrangements in our financial system, and obviously the future and ongoing role for ASIC and the performance of ASIC in that context as a regulator in our financial system is an important part of that scope, and we have full confidence in Mr Murray's capacity to perform that job with distinction.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Whish-Wilson, final supplementary.
Considering other comments by the Prime Minister in relation to this CBA matter, that I don't want to overdo the reviews because in the end what people expect from government is appropriate action, not endless study, particularly studies which don't necessarily lead to outcomes, why won't the government heed the call of the Senate inquiry, including from the government's own Senator Williams, and immediately move to establish a Royal Commission into Commonwealth Bank scandal or into broader white-collar crime?
Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm pleased to advise the Senate that on this occasion Senator Whish-Wilson did appropriately quote the Prime Minister, and indeed we are not interested in endless further inquiries. We are interested in action. And what we are interested in is how can we ensure that victims with unresolved, legitimate, outstanding issues can achieve resolution of their outstanding issues in the most efficient and most effective way. We believe that the announcement by CBA of the Open Advice Review Programme does offer that opportunity, but we reserve judgment. We will monitor the way that is being implemented. We expect that it's going to be implemented in an appropriately independent and professional way, and subject to how that all plays out, then we don't believe that a Royal Commission, which will take a couple of years and cost a lot of money, is the best way to deal with this particular circumstance.
Senator Edwards.
Thank you, Mr.